The three key pillars of our new logo showcase clean waste, solid waste as a resource, and community. Our new W is a constant reminder that SWANA is continuing to work towards waste as a resource for everyone. Come check out SWANA's new look at swana.org.
Executive leadership. That's what WasteCon is all about. The re-engineering of WasteCon into an executive level forum for solid waste directors and their leaders that began in 2019 continues. It will combine cutting-edge executive education with innovative program design and leave participants better able to lead, inspire, and achieve. For building leaders with the opportunity to adopt and adapt to disruption, take advantage of its challenges, and even pivot the disruption. That aptitude is really what distinguishes the most successful leaders today. So join us in delivering a powerful learning experience that helps solid waste directors and their teams achieve their full potential.
Good afternoon and welcome to SWANA's annual business meeting. I'm Brenda Haney, Solid Waste Director for the City of Lubbock, and I'm serving as the President of SWANA. We're so glad that you're all here to help us reflect on this past year, to celebrate the service of a number of our colleagues, and to look to the future. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank our sponsors for today's event, Rochem and SCS Engineers. Okay, we'll be using the chat feature in Zoom today, so you can be accessed at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Click on the Zoom chat button and tell me what state or province that you're in currently. Type in your answer in the chat box now. So I got Maryland, Michigan, Colorado, Ohio, Arkansas. All right, great. You guys have got this all figured out. That's excellent. So throughout the afternoon, please post your questions and comments there. We'll be answering as many questions as possible from the chat today. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce our officers. This year's nominating committee recommended that the current officers continue in their existing position for an additional year. The intent is to provide leadership stability as we continue navigating through the COVID-19 pandemic. This essentially extends everyone's term by 1 year. I personally want to thank all of the officers for their willingness to continue serving, and it's my privilege to serve alongside each of them. Let me introduce our officers. Vice President Tim Flanagan, Monterey Regional Solid Waste District. Treasurer Art Mercer, Region of Halton. Secretary Tammy Hayes, CDM Smith. And past President Michael Greenberg, GT Environmental. All right, one of the honors of the current president is to recognize the past president. I have the honor of recognizing and thanking Frank Capone for his service. Frank not only served as an officer, but he's been a long-standing member of the board and has served on the policy committee. In fact, I think Frank has rewritten every one of our policies. Frank's been a member of SWANA since 1999, and he's left a lasting impression on the organization. Frank is set to retire from Los Angeles Sanitation District, and we wish him the very best in his future endeavors. Frank, thank you for all you have done.
Hi. I want to first thank SWANA for the opportunity to be able to say a few words at the meeting. I wish I could be there in person, but like the rest of us, we're doing this on Zoom or some platform. I'm here in my Zoom business casual, and today I'm wearing pants, so it's a good day. My New Year's resolution for 2022 is to get to WasteCon down in San Diego and get to see folks in person, and hopefully we can have a drink and celebrate properly. My time at SWANA has been really amazing. Just in a couple of minutes, there's just too much to say. So what I'd like to do is just thank a bunch of people. First SWANA staff, Dave, Mary Beth, Sarah, Barry, and a number of people I'm not mentioning for being so professional and making this such a great experience. It's been wonderful working with you. The board, I've been on the board for a very long time, and it's been such tremendous people that I've worked with. Our officers, SWANA is blessed with an amazing group of officers, and you are really in good hands, and I really do miss working with those people. All the folks at the division level that I've got to work with over the years. It's just been amazing. I know everyone's going through tough times now, but I know that SWANA will make it through these tough times and be better for that. I also like to thank my agency, because without their support, I wouldn't have been able to spend all the years that I have working with SWANA and on the board and a number of other activities. As I said, it's been great. It's been wonderful. I've been doing this probably since before the year 2000 and been in leadership roles most of that time. And so it's an enormous experience. It's been wonderful. And I want to thank everybody, and everyone. You take care and be safe. Thank you.
More than ever, you and other solid waste workers face a wide variety of safety challenges and hazards. Nothing is more important at SWANA than making sure you go home safely to your family at the end of the day. That's why SWANA is urging all solid waste managers, supervisors, and frontline employees to take our safety pledge and commit to doing your jobs safely.
I pledge to help everyone get home safe
every single day.
I will consider worker, customer,
public safety in every decision that I make.
My ultimate mission is to serve the community safely.
For myself, my company, and for those who depend on me.
If I cannot do it safely,
then I will not do it at all.
Take the SWANA Safety Pledge today and join thousands of solid waste professionals in the United States and Canada who have already taken it and are working hard to make our industry safe. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Suzanne Sturgeon. I'm the SWANA Safety Committee Chair and the Health and Safety Program Manager for SCF Engineers. I'm here today to recognize the inspiring winners of the 2020 SWANA Safety Awards. These organizations show that worker and public safety is our most important duty. I also want to thank the sponsors of this year's awards program, Autocar, Caterpillar, and Jacobs. Their support makes this possible and represents their commitment to industry safety. Our first award today goes to LEC Waste Services for biggest safety improvement. LEC Waste Services of Greater Philadelphia transformed its safety program through a variety of valuable improvements. The result was a significant drop in its incident rate and reductions in auto liability and workmen's compensation claims. Accepting the award is John Andel, the Corporate Director of Health and Safety and Compliance for LEC Waste Services.
Good afternoon. My name is John Andel. I'm the Corporate Director of Health, Safety, and Compliance at LEC Waste Services in Ivy Land, PA. On behalf of LEC Waste Services, we are humbled and honored to accept the SWANA 2020 Biggest Safety Improvement Award. LEC Waste Services was founded in 1971 by George and Walter LEC. 2020 was a landmark growth year for us as we opened our third location. At LEC Waste Services, we combine the family values of our founders along with the structured environment needed to run a successfully growing business. At LEC Waste Services, we strive to be an innovator in the industry through our use of technology. These technologies include driver event recording systems, tablets, phone applications, truck scales, routing and dispatch software, GPS, and remote diagnostic systems. All of these technologies work together, improving efficiency, operational cost savings, and better overall performance and employee safety. On behalf of LEC Waste Services, I want to thank everyone at SWANA for the recognition and wish everyone a safe and prosperous 2021.
Congratulations to LEC Waste Services for their well-deserved win. Our next award goes to Estancia Valley Solid Waste Authority for Best Safety Innovation. Estancia Valley Solid Waste Authority in New Mexico incorporated a safety incentive program to reduce its workers' compensation claims and premiums. The result was Estancia Valley's safety ratings going from one of the worst in the state of New Mexico to one of the best. Accepting the award is Estancia Valley Solid Waste Authority Director, Martin Lucero.
Hi, my name is Martin Lucero. I'm the director with the Estancia Valley Solid Waste Authority located in Torrance County, New Mexico. Our safety program starts in our homes. We start by traveling to work, then we get to work, and we're faced with all these hazards before we even start working. Then, in our work areas, we have to evaluate those hazards and eliminate any risks that we possibly can. That culture is embedded into everything that we do on a daily basis. And this is exactly why it's extremely important for our organization to ensure safety in everything that we do. So on behalf of our board of directors, the entire staff at the Estancia Valley Solid Waste Authority, and our entire community, we thank SWANA.
From Estancia Solid Waste Authority, thank you, SWANA.
From all the landfill staff,
thank you, SWANA. From the administrative staff, thank you, SWANA.
And we accept this award, and we appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to Estancia Valley Waste Authority. We now would like to recognize OC Waste and Recycling for also winning Best Safety Innovation this year. OC Waste and Recycling in California launched OC Safety, the county's first safety management enterprise software tool. Replacing different reporting methods across departments, OC Safety enabled easy and instantaneous tracking of near misses, incidents, and injuries, providing valuable trend analysis system-wide. Accepting the award is OC Waste and Recycling Director, Tom Petrulis.
Hi, I'm Tom Petrulis, Director of OC Waste and Recycling in Orange County, California. I'm humbled and honored to speak on behalf of our 280 employees who've embraced our cultural commitment to safety, in addition to systematically following the safety rules by being part of the solution. While we can see our own progress in enhancing our world-class safety culture, it is very gratifying to be recognized by SWANA, our industry's leading association. The OC Safety app is an innovative use of technology that is fully customizable to our needs. That customization provides tremendous value to our entire team. The members servicing administrative roles in the office as well as the field crews. Making safety administration as user-friendly as possible contributes to positivity and adoption. On behalf of OC Waste and Recycling team, thank you, SWANA, for this meaningful recognition.
Congratulations to OC Waste and Recycling for their innovative program. And finally, the SWANA Safety Committee would like to recognize the City of Charlotte, North Carolina, Solid Waste Services Department, and Wuhan Waste Control of Guam for the responses to the COVID-19 pandemic, as outlined in their award submission. This year has been challenging for our industry, and we want to celebrate all of the men and women in this essential industry that have kept going in unprecedented times.
Now, it's my opportunity to introduce our Executive Director and CEO, David Biderman.
Thank you, Brenda. Good afternoon, everyone. You know, after I spoke at the Utah Beehive chapter meeting in early March, I had no idea that that was going to be the last chapter meeting I went to and the last airplane I was on for the entire year. This has been a very difficult year for all of us, but I'm pleased to report to you that SWANA, your association, has risen to the challenge and is reaching new heights. When the US government and private companies wanted to provide assistance to the solid waste industry during the pandemic, they came to SWANA. FEMA approached us and asked SWANA to help distribute masks to the solid waste industry in the United States, and we were glad to assist. And during the summer, more than 2 million masks were distributed to employers and employees in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, Guam, and elsewhere. Together with GLAD, we established a sanitation workers support fund that has distributed nearly $170,000 to more than 300 workers and their families in the United States and Canada. Larry Hogan, the governor of Maryland, recognized both the solid waste industry and SWANA for our tireless and essential work during the pandemic. All of you should be very proud of the work that you and your coworkers have done over these past 9 months. Last week, SWANA urged the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, to prioritize the entire solid waste sector in the United States for the vaccines that will start being distributed soon. And we sent a similar letter to Health Canada earlier this week. It appears that as an essential workforce, solid waste employees in both the public and private sectors in the United States and Canada will start receiving the vaccine in early 2021. The national media has certainly noticed SWANA's leadership and expertise this year. SWANA has been contacted by dozens of reporters and has been mentioned or cited this year in stories and articles by National Public Radio, CBS News, The Wall Street Journal, CNN, and numerous other media outlets and publications. Most notably, we played a small role in the recent Good Morning America segment that highlighted 3 drivers in Athens, Clarke County, Georgia. You know, when 2020 began, recycling was the #1 issue we were dealing with. And despite our relentless focus on COVID-19, we continue to play a significant leadership role, advocating to preserve, improve, and expand recycling. SWANA participated in EPA's America Recycles Summit and Innovation Fair, and helped EPA develop its new national goal to recycle 50% by 2030. We are also helping EPA finalize its draft national recycling strategy. Congressional legislation supported by SWANA, providing money for improving recycling and reducing marine litter, passed Congress last week and has been sent to the White House for signature. Although our events were held virtually this year, and not in person, we had a great virtual SWANA Palooza in late June and held a very successful MRF Summit last month. Thank you for participating in those events. We're very excited about Virtual WasteCon on January 26th through January 28th. And I urge all of you to please register for that event immediately after today's meeting. Finally, just yesterday, SWANA's Board of Directors approved the 47th chapter of SWANA in the great state of Michigan. Getting a new chapter started is difficult under any circumstances. And Paul Scrisha and other chapter leaders overcame the obstacles posed by the pandemic and have already accomplished great things. I look forward to participating in an in-person Michigan chapter event sometime next year. One of the very few benefits of the pandemic has been that me and other SWANA staff have been able to speak at a substantial number of chapter events through Zoom over the past few months. We appreciate the invitations and the opportunity to update members on new developments and trends. If chapters are planning digital events in the first half of 2021, please let us know if you'd like me, Sarah Bixby, Jesse Maxwell, or somebody else from our terrific staff to participate. We could not have accomplished all of these successes in this difficult year without the support and leadership of our board of directors, input and guidance from the advisory board and technical divisions, and through strong and frequent communications with all 47 chapters. Thank you. I also want to especially recognize and thank the terrific and hardworking SWANA staff. We've all been working remotely now for nearly 9 months, and I want to thank them for their incredible effort during the pandemic. It is a privilege to be a member of Team SWANA. I hope each of you and your families stay safe and have an enjoyable holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you in person next year. Thank you.
I'm Suki Jansen, SWANA Georgia Chapter President and Director of Athens-Clarke County Solid Waste Department. And I am speaking on behalf of the SWANA Georgia Chapter in our nomination of Harvey Levitt for Life Member of SWANA. We were really excited to nominate Harvey for this honor and award. Harvey has been with our chapter for over 25 years. 14 of those years were spent as treasurer, which is a hard position to hold. The last 6 years was as a director. We appreciate everything that Harvey has done for our chapter. Specifically, he was instrumental in starting the landfill operator and certification training. He also was around for subsequent revisions of that program. He was a part of the faculty until he retired from Dalton-Whitfield County. We were so excited this past fall when he came back to us to teach the first virtual landfill certification program. So Harvey, as your friend and fellow coworker and fellow board member, on behalf of the SWANA board, I want to say you are a wonderful person, very kind person, compassionate person that was a mentor to me when I came to the board, taught me the ins and outs of the SWANA Georgia chapter. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, we couldn't have chosen a better person for that Life Member Award. And we, as the SWANA Georgia chapter, are very happy that you received this. We want to say congratulations, and it's so well deserved. We love you, Harvey.
My name's Harvey Levitt, and I'm a long-time SWANA member, over 20 years. And this year, I've been nominated by our chapter, the Georgia chapter, for a very distinguished award from SWANA, being a lifetime member. And I certainly have enjoyed all my years with SWANA. And to me, one of the main things with SWANA has been sharing information with other members and the conferences, and especially the landfill school that the Georgia chapter supports. Thank you to all, thank you to SWANA Georgia chapter, and thank you to SWANA International for this award.
Well, hasn't 2020 been something special? It certainly wasn't the year any of us expected, but it had some real bright spots for me. SWANA hosted the first ever virtual conference when we shifted SWANApalooza to a virtual event in June, and it was a fantastic event, as David mentioned. SWANA made the very best of the pandemic. We were approached by GLAD when we asked to distribute money to essential workers in the solid waste industry that were affected by COVID. And to date, we have distributed over $166,000. The association became a huge resource and a partner to many organizations, news outlets, other associations that were looking for industry perspectives and strategies related to COVID. Most importantly to me, we did what we always do in a crisis. We got to work, and we made certain that our communities were taken care of, even at personal risk. I've never been more proud to say I'm a garbage lady. Now, things are looking up for 2021. The efforts are underway to get this pandemic under control and get us all back to normal. We have initiated the work on our strategic plan, which will guide us through the next 5 years and beyond. We're also taking steps to strengthen and grow our membership with our upcoming work on diversity, equity, and an inclusion initiative. This won't be a single project or an action, but an ongoing shift in who we are organizationally and within the industry. And we'd very much like to have you participate and provide your insight. We are also all very optimistic that we'll have the opportunity to gather in Kansas City in June for SOAR in person. Additionally, we've been given a sizable donation by Harvey Gershman, which will provide funding for a scholarship in his name. This is a huge gift for the future of this industry and the association, and an example of what we can do to give back when we're ready to retire. Thank you, Harvey. For our other retired members, I urge you to consider a Gift to SWANA scholarship fund when you get to that retirement point. These are just examples of why we are strong. We're strong as an association because we're an organization of dedicated public service. I'm personally looking forward to what 2021 has in store for us because I know that we can get through anything.
Hello everyone, my name is Arturo Santiago. I'm the chief editor of MSW Management Magazine, and I welcome you to SWANA's annual business meeting. As the journal for municipal solid waste professionals, our mission is to offer these professionals with articles and stories that provide information on current best practices and future trends, help to manage their existing businesses, and assist in making informed choices for future investments. This year marks our 30th year in publication, and for nearly the last 2 of those decades, one of the most impactful and productive aspects to accomplishing our goals is the partnership we have with the Solid Waste Association of North America. SWANA's vast resources and its commitment to safety, research, networking, young professionals, education, and advocacy enables us to provide objective, in-depth content and industry intelligence. Beyond our pages, SWANA's leadership and membership continue to guide us all as the industry faces the challenges of a pandemic, the continuing effects of China's national sword, and the impassioned efforts to take the waste industry off of the federal government's list of 10 most dangerous jobs. We have gathered to honor the professionals who have distinguished themselves in these pursuits. As we join in celebrating these accomplishments, MSW Management extends our congratulations to those who are receiving these well-deserved accolades. It's my personal belief that our industry professionals work tirelessly not for the bestowment of awards, but for their dedication to the historic mission of protecting the health of the community and the environment. Again, we congratulate all of those being honored. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Khalil Garrios, Division Manager of LA Sanitation and Environment, and I am also the Vice President of the Board of Director of SWANA Founding Chapter, LA Region. I'm here with you today to share with you the many accomplishments that my boss, Enrique Zaldivar, has done for the waste industry, and in particular for the City of LA and the region, and LA region. When SWANA National announced the application for the Most Distinguished Award, the Robert L. Lawrence Distinguished Service Award, we put a team together to just submit application on behalf of my boss. But there's a lot to list for his accomplishments toward the waste industry. But I would like to share with you that it's not mainly in the application, it's his leadership. His leading 35 employees to do better on a daily basis, to do better to just reduce emission, to do better for the environment, to do better for recycling, to do better for just cutting the waste, to do better for just looking for zero waste city, hopefully within our lifetime. Enrique has done so much for the industry. He is well deserving for this award. There's no one that I can see is most deserving of this award than my boss, Enrique Zaldivar. Thank you.
Fellow SWANA members, my name is Tracy Menamidi, Chief Operating Officer of the City of Los Angeles, LA Sanitation and Environment Department. I'm so excited today to share in congratulations to my boss, Enrique Zaldivar, Director and General Manager of LA Sanitation and Environment, for his recognition with SWANA's Robert L. Lawrence Distinguished Service Award. Enrique has consistently made a positive impression with his vision and foresight into where LA Sanitation should be focusing our attention in order to best address the challenges of solid resources management in the City of Los Angeles. Whether it's at the day-to-day operational level in providing service to a city of 4 million residents, or longer-term planning for reducing waste to landfills and electrifying our fleet of over 700 collection vehicles, Enrique has led with vigor and enthusiasm that has motivated all of us to rise to the challenge. Congratulations again to you, Enrique, and thank you, SWANA, for providing the opportunity to recognize Enrique on the international stage with this very prestigious award.
Hello, fellow SWANA members. It is a great honor for me to be speaking to you today, though I wish it could be in person. I am truly humbled to receive the Robert L. Lawrence Distinguished Service Award. When I graduated in 1985 from Cal Poly Pomona and started my career with the City of Los Angeles as an assistant engineer at LA Sanitation and Environment, I never would have imagined finding myself still here 35 years later, accepting such a prestigious award. The years have flown by and I am extremely proud of LA San's achievements. We have the largest clean fuel collections fleet in the nation. We wrote and implemented the single-use plastic bag ban ordinance and the plastic straws on request ordinance. We laid policy groundwork and launched the solid waste private hauler exclusive franchise initiative, better known as Recicla. We established a full-service 24-hour customer care center with the ability to dispatch services whenever Angelinos need them the most. We implemented the Clean Streets Initiative, better known as the CARE program, which keeps our streets clean while offering vital shower and other services with dignity to our unsheltered neighbors. We also placed another 5,000 automated litter bins throughout Los Angeles. We offer free and unlimited curbside bulky item collections to our city's residents, as well as free monthly bulky item drop-off events, all with the intention of reducing illegal dumping. We established a productive and collaborative joint labor management process across the entire organization to foster innovation and productivity while addressing issues quickly and fairly. We're building relationships with our North American neighbors, Mexico and Canada, to improve recycling measures and provide a baseline of financial stability for the recycling market, while working with manufacturers to recommend completely recyclable products. We're working toward electrifying our entire fleet of vehicles by 2035. We're finding innovative ways to divert organics from landfills, seeking citywide cost-effective solutions. We're walking our talk in the quest for zero waste, taking a leadership role in guiding city departments, local businesses, and residents to make fundamental changes in purchasing decisions and proper waste disposal. We're certifying local businesses in our Green Business Certification Program with more than 800 certified businesses thus far, and we are well on our way to exceed our goal of 1,000 businesses by 2025. We've accomplished a great deal, and we have so much to be proud of. But there's much more to be done, and we won't rest until this great city of Los Angeles is the cleanest, greenest, big city in the nation. I am fortunate to be surrounded by so many brilliant, talented, passionate individuals, essential workers who show their dedication to Los Angeles by continuing to serve our 4 million residents with a unwavering commitment throughout the uncertainty of the time brought by this pandemic. I am proud to lead this team of 3,500, and I dedicate my award to them. Thank you.
Congratulations, Enrique. Now it's my opportunity to introduce our keynote speaker for this afternoon. I'm pleased to introduce Timothy Bouldry. You may remember Tim from WasteCon 2017 in Baltimore when we hosted the ISWA World Congress. Tim photographs, explores, and educates people about open dump site activity and the communities living from them. He works with activists, scientists, environmentalists, and humanitarians to help create cases for powers to understand the changes these places need. He is currently directing ISWA, the ISWA scholarship program that provides education for kids living at dump sites and wanting to leave child labor in Nicaragua, Honduras, India, Ethiopia, and Uganda. Today, he joins us to tell us more about the work with the scholarship program. Welcome, Timothy Bouldry.
Hello, and thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Mary Beth, David, and everyone at SWANA. It's a pleasure to be back. I have really fond memories of World Congress, SWANA, WasteCon. I think that was 2017. Well, for some of you, this is going to be sort of an update because you're familiar with my work. And for others, I'm going to kind of recap how I came to be and where I started out, because it started out pretty grassroots at that point. Okay, here we go. The ISWA Scholarship Program. I'm the international director, and now it's international because I actually have been working on the program remotely. And we started out with a small group of kids, and it's grown into 80 kids. So just a little background, I was living in New York City for 13 years, and I was a yoga teacher and a documentary photographer. And at that time, I was traveling in different countries, and I was trying to figure out a topic that I would feel compelled to follow for a long period of time. And I saw a lot of interesting places and people and things, but it wasn't until I went into the dump site in Managua, Nicaragua, that I saw the kids living and working with it amongst the trash, and that changed my life. And so that was it. I mean, I felt this premonition, and I knew that this would be the thing that I'd follow for the rest of my life. So from Nicaragua, I started going to Guatemala, Bangladesh, India. On the right there, that's a bauxite lake where they produce aluminum, and then they try to dilute the bauxite toxins, which is next to the Orinoco River in Venezuela. So I really wanted to explore the topic in all different regions, and I wanted to find out what was unique and interesting about each place and what were their characteristics. So this is just to show that it was very grassroots. I just started talking to people about it at cafes. I set it up in a yoga studio, at a gym, at the center. I would go to local television shows and try to speak about it. And the bottom right, that was from a show in Harlem in a club. People are having drinks, and I'm talking about, what's going on with solid waste in Venezuela. So it was pretty grassroots at that point. And this is give an example of some of the photographs. We have Uganda and India and Nicaragua here. And every time I went back, I tried to photograph differently, or try to find a different perspective on it. And then I came to a point in New York City where I just felt like I was working very hard, and then going to these countries and coming back again. And I felt like if I wanted to really help out, I should just move there. So I sold my things, I moved to Nicaragua, and I became very involved in these people's lives. I had birthday parties for them. I even picked waste with them inside the trash dumps. I followed them around during their day. I also didn't know any Spanish. So I did know Spanish, but I realized I really didn't know Spanish until after I moved there. And these are just more images because it was really the kids that really shocked me at that point. Like, it was so day to day to them, but to me, it was, it really broke my heart to see the kids inside the dump site. So I did what I could do. I taught them yoga, we taught some English. We had a gardening project where we planted fruits and vegetables, and then we would try to sell the fruits and vegetables, or we would make smoothies out of them. And then it was in 2015, actually it was before that, because I got affiliated with the EPA and they invited me to the Methane Expo. And, you know, I was just kind of showing some of my photographs and talking about what it was like at the dump sites. And I rubbed elbows with someone from ISWA, and I'm not even sure who that was. And maybe it was you, David. I don't remember who it was, but years afterwards, they asked me to use my photographs for a catalog. And then eventually they invited me to do a presentation in 2015. From that presentation, they asked me, what would you, if we gave you some money, like a grant, how would you use that money? And having already worked with the community and in different ways, I decided that the best way was through education. And so this was the first group. The boy on the left in the red shirt, it's pixelated. I'm not sure if you can see the images, but he was the one to help me go into the dump site and search out all of these kids. Oh, this is one of our girls, Angie. Actually, Angie's her sister. This is Marlene. So like I said, this past year in 2020, we have 80 kids from 6 different countries, and 50 of them are from Nicaragua. So I try every year to go visit everyone, but obviously this year, well, I did visit them, but it was like December of 2019. So I did kind of see them this year. And this to show a little bit more from Nicaragua, there's 2 dump sites that we work at. One is in Nueva Vida, which is in Ciudad Cedino. It's like the sister dump site to La Chureca, which is like the big dump site that people are more familiar with. And I mean, even in the top left here, that there was this horse that someone, like they hit it with a machete, and I didn't want to show the image because it's a little too much, and left the horse there. So you see everything that you could possibly see in these dump sites. And so that's what it came to be, was I would go into the dump site, look for a child, and we would find their parents, get a profile on the child and see what they are, what they want out of life. And the scholarships range all the way from nursery school to elementary school, high school, college, university, vocational. And this shows some of the images of the students that went to private school, because there's a big gap between like going to a public school and going to a private school. So obviously our group that are going to private school are a little bit smaller. So the scholarships are really kind of more life coaching, but I don't really want to call it life coaching because I don't have like a big background in life coaching. I'm still trying to life coach myself anyway. So I just like to call it scholarships to help improve your life and to accomplish goals. And then this is just to show like the boy on the left, he took a left to go to school rather than taking a right that leads right to the dump site. Cynthia on the right, the bottom image is when I met her inside the dump site under a wagon, and then later used the same wagon to instead go to the dump site, she would go to school. And it offered a lot of different things, especially in those first couple of years, and the funding that we received from SWANA helped us a lot. We had campaigns for helping the horses. There's a lot of horses that are malnourished and they have parasites and bacteria on them. So we would invite veterinarians to come and student veterinarians that are studying this to help the families and their horses. And then we would do everything. Actually, we had a lot of visitors. We had people come from Spain, from Australia, the United States. We had little award ceremonies to make them feel like they really accomplished different tasks. And then we do art and whatever you can. We had music. And then eventually we were able to establish the ISWA Center. The ISWA Center was a home that I bought off of one of the houses of the families, because the families received homes from the government eventually when they were removed from the dump site, but they still lived right outside the dump site. Like the other side of this wall is the dump site. But the agreement is that if I bought their house, then they would use that money to buy a plantation, and then they would try to profit using the plantation for plantains and rice and beans. So that worked out. And then we had the home and we constructed it into the ISWA Center. And then we also used the center for eye exams, medical checkups. And then we sent them, we didn't have dentists come there, but we brought some kids to the dentist. This kid, Harrison, his teeth were very crooked. So he was very self-conscious about it. So we fixed a lot of the kids' teeth, and then we asked them to smile more often and feel more confident. And then we also took them out. Like a big part of the program is really, it doesn't matter like so much your grades and like your graduation and all that, those are great. It's about getting out of the dump site. Every day that you spend inside the dump site is a day lost that you could be exploring something bigger than that. And so we're trying to open up people's eyes and mind to going to museums and seeing things culturally outside the dump site. And don't get me wrong, like we have total respect for the work that they're doing, recycling in the dump site. It's just that when they're open, unregulated dump sites, it's extremely dirty. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for human health. And there's children in there. I mean, the baseline at least is no children inside open dump sites. That's dangerous. So just trying to move in the right direction, but also observing their free service to the community and to their country and essentially to the world. And then every year we have like a Christmas party, we have graduation, and this is just to show that we do like a Christmas card every year. Antonis from ISWA, the president from ISWA, came to visit us, and that was like a very special occasion because it really showed all the kids like a face besides my own that comes from ISWA and how special they are and the situation. So that was a really nice opportunity. And he shared a lot of insight to them as well. And then, you know, you have situations where you get sort of involved in wanting to help more than just scholarships. And this family, Marjorie is on the left, and her husband hung himself inside the house, and they woke up with the 3 kids and her to her husband, and the family of the husband blamed her for his suicide. So they chased them out of the house, and there was a whole situation around that event. And so I was able to get them a house. At first it was a rental, but then we eventually were able to buy the house. And it supplements 3 families. It's not just Marjorie, it's Marjorie's family, her mother's family, and her brother's family. Oh, and another like big benefit is when Noemi went to World Congress in Bilbao. So we were very proud of her. She's learning, she's in med school to become a doctor. Though this year she decided to kind of bring it down a little bit and work on being a nurse, and decide if she wants to go to be a doctor after that. And nurses work just as hard too. So we're very proud of her for everything that she's doing. And I have stories about her too. So I know that she's come a long way, and she gave a beautiful, inspiring speech at World Congress. And then, we have campaigns, and in the past, we've had campaigns about safe sex, using condoms, women's issues. Like we had someone come in to speak about certain things about that, sexual abuse. And then this year, our campaign was more related to COVID and, how do you keep yourself safe? How do you keep yourself masked? Social distancing the best you can, cleaning surfaces, and then also supplying people with food because they're going to the dump a little less often. There's also less people buying things, which means there's less trash for them to find. So, we work with the times. Oh, and now we're going into the other countries, and I'll make this quick. So we have 9 scholarship students in India in 2 parts. They're both in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, and then the other town, I can never say this, I have to read it. Kusipandhaladalam. I probably shouldn't even try. Anyways, yeah, so we have kids at the Little Lamb School, and we found them from the Chennai dump site. And we also have our little skater rock star in the bottom right. She's a little girl who likes to skate, and there's actually a documentary about her. And the top left is Karthik. We're trying to get him back into school, but before we do that, we're focusing on rehabilitation because he has a drug issue. This was an image I took inside the Chennai dump site. I wasn't supposed to take pictures at all, so I just took a few pictures with my phone. But if you saw it, I can see why they would not let me take pictures, because there was a river of leachate that was just coming out of that place and directing right to the ocean. And it was quite severe. This is Peter David. He's the one that runs the program in Chennai, and he had done a lot of food drop-offs for people. The other part too is some of the scholarships I didn't have to pay for because they weren't going to school, so we had to use that money instead for food supplements. We have 3 students in Uganda, in Kampala. These are some images from the dump site, just to give you an idea of what that place is like. In the bottom left, that's a women's co-op. And actually at the Kampala dump site, they really like working there. They actually make some really good money. So sometimes people are fighting to have the position to work there. And with the co-op, it helps protect them a little bit more. And these are just more images of the kids in Uganda. In the very bottom center is Sam. He's the one that runs the program. And we have someone that runs the program in every country, and we're all very connected to each other. Ethiopia, we have 8 students. Again, this is some images from the dump site. Some of them actually live inside the dumpsters, like they turn the dumpster on one side and they live inside there. There was a huge landslide there, and it moved everybody out. There was like over 100 people that died from that landslide. I call it a dump slide. Just crazy to think that you would even make up a word to describe that. But when all the trash weakens and it just has like an avalanche effect, this is what happens. So there's not many people living inside the dump, but there's some people that still turn a dumpster on one side and sort of live there while they're working. And also, we had the COVID, we made little ISWA masks, and we had a campaign about the COVID there. In the bottom left is Seti. She's the program director there. The boys in the top right, sometimes the scholarships are pretty easy because all they needed was a driver's license. And with the driver's license, there's a lot of construction jobs surrounding the dump site. So they were able to get a job in construction through just having the license. And then, so this little baby completely adorable, obviously. So the scholarship, and that's her mother. The way that this worked was she was taking the baby to the dump site. And so we were convincing the mother, what could we do so that you don't bring the baby to the dump site? Starting like as a baby, let's not have the baby in the dump site at all. And so we started paying for her to go to nursery school, and we also helped pay for the food. And then throughout the year, that really worked out and everything. But then we started thinking about, well, what about the mother? Like, what if ISWA wasn't around next year, and what would happen to that girl and that scholarship if they depend on that money? So what we're currently working on is putting the mother in a program for textiles. So she's going to learn about textiles, and we're going to see what direction she wants to take that career in, and doing it with the intention, knowing that eventually she's going to pay for her own child to go to nursing school. We'll always help for as long as we can, but the idea is to allow her to not be dependent on recycling at the dump site. We have 5 students in Mexico. This is Coatzacoalcos. This is near Veracruz. And this is to give you a little bit of imagery there. It's close to the ocean, so it's a lot more damp there. There's a lot more leachate because of that. 5 students in San Pedro Sula in Honduras. This is to give you some images from the dump site there. The dump site is really like run by the Mata Salvatrucha and the gangs. So having access to the dump site is not easy. It's very difficult. The last time I couldn't even get in. I had an opportunity to go, but like in the middle of the night in the dark through the back jungle, and I chickened out last minute and I said, I can't do it. I'm too scared. It was like really dirty and everything, and I can't see anything. But that's how the kids go. The kids go up there in the middle of the night in the darkness. So it's really something else. So Catherine and Gioni on the left, they're the 2 people that run that program, and they're doing a great job. I'm going to work with them a lot more in the following year. They built a school that's right outside the dump site, and they've been doing a great job. Even COVID has been making things difficult for everyone to go to school, but they have the school and everyone's ready to study. And this is another girl, Daniela, just to show you kind of like a before and after, like when she was going to the dump, and now she's going to a university, and we moved her to Tegucigalpa, which is like a couple of hours away from San Pedro Sula. And then there was a huge hurricane, right? We just had the hurricane. Eta was first, and then Iota hit them second. So these are images from San Pedro Sula. And this boy, his name is Jose Abraham. In the top right, I took this picture of him back in, I think it was 2016. And he was just a little boy. His father is there smoking a cigarette, and this was inside the dump site. Then years later, I went back to San Pedro Sula with the intention to have a program, and I bumped into the kid again. And since then, the father was murdered, but he's living with his mother, and they're living in this the hut made of trash and on someone else's property. So my intention was to build him a house, and then of course I put him into school. But those plans got messed up because of COVID and fundraising. So I have yet to do that. But now that the hurricane just totally washed everything away, I started a GoFundMe to try to raise money to support him with a house. And then just to finish this up, what I'm currently working on is a video game. And the video game is about taking these kids and these characters and putting them inside a game that's intended to educate people about these areas, about poverty, about dump sites, about recycling, about the environment, and to take them from real characters. So the protagonist in this game is Stephanie, which is a little girl from La Chureca. And he's the one that the kids sell the recyclables to. His name is Flaco. He's based on a character or of a real person I met in Colombia. And the bottom left is Hilma. She's this like 80-something-year-old woman that she's been living at the dump site for decades. And that's me and Hilma together. So these are like real people, and I'm really trying to like put them into this video game and see how far I can take this. We're working with developers from Prague, Canada, Mexico, and New York. And this is the scene, like this is our basic scene right now of the dump site. And she's gonna go around, collect things, and you're gonna learn about different types of plastics and recyclables. And the end of the game, she helps empower her community. There's a whole storyboard that I created with this, and it has a positive ending at the end. And just more information if you want is ISWAkids.com is all about the program. If you feel compelled to donate, there's a donation link there. Or if you want to help with Jose's house, that's gofundme.com/ISWA house. To see more of the visual reports on dump sites is bouldry.com. And that's pretty much it. But I took a half an hour. I hope that's okay. But I really appreciate your time, and it's with much gratitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. What a great presentation. We've got lots of questions that we're going to let you answer in just a few minutes during our meet and greet. Before we do that, I want to take one more opportunity to thank our sponsors, RoChem and SCS Engineers. Additionally, I want to say congratulations to all of our award winners. Thank you to the SWANA officers, board members, chapter leaders, technical division leaders, and you, our members. Stay safe. Okay, Tim, let's get started with a few questions from the chat. I saw one a moment ago that I'm going to bring up for you. What kind of resistance did you encounter, and from who?
The government and the police. And that's like not just again with me, it's with anyone. You know, a lot of those people are under a lot of control. You know, like for example, when there was a hurricane in the past, like Hurricane I don't remember the name of it now, but it was in the late 90s, and it flooded out an area called Manchester. And the government's like response to that was to remove all those people and put them next to a dump site. And then they took that land and they made a big government park, like with all the, you know, the stuff like that there. So those are the type of things that were resisting the work and effort I was trying to do. But in terms of the community, everyone was Hurricane Mitch. Yes, that's the one. Thank you, Marjorie. There's so many hurricanes with names, it's like you lose track. And so yeah, so the families themselves are pretty good, but some of them are definitely complicated. They come from a lot of complicated issues. So the other type of resistance would be maybe people that want to manipulate the program or manipulate me. So they're kind of resisting in their own passive aggressive way, but there was never any direct, you know, resistance to the program.
Excellent. So I got another question for you here. How much would it cost to build Jose's house?
To buy the property and to build the house that's going to be near the school is $3,500. I have about $500 so far, so all I need now is $3,000. And I just started the campaign like a couple of days ago. So yeah. And I'm trying to make videos. Like every time someone donates, I have Jose give a personal video to thank the individual.
That's incredible. I know David put in the chat earlier that this is a program that SWANA had and chapters and SWANA and some of our individual members had supported in the past. And it's certainly an effort that we want to continue to support. So if any of you were not moved by this presentation, I will question you later. Because this is tremendous work, and Timothy, it's an awesome thing what you're doing out there. So there's great opportunities for any of you that want to contribute. Another question came in. How is the money handled? Does it go to the person or always to a school, business, etc.? How's that work?
Okay, so if we're talking more like a larger grant, that money usually goes directly to ISWA. If someone wants to sponsor like an individual, I can find someone or I might know someone that needs the scholarship, and I can set the sponsor up with the donor. And so you can put the money through my nonprofit, Shoot for Change. It's also doing business as the ISWA Scholarship Program. So I have a nonprofit set up just for that. And if someone was interested in sponsoring someone specifically, then I send the money to the person that's running the program. Like if it's in Nicaragua, I would send it to Kevin. Kevin sends the money to the school. If there's food involved, then we buy the food and we give it to the family. If we have a close relationship and we trust the family, we will give them money for certain things to make it a little easier. But otherwise, we have to buy everything, give it to them, or go to the school directly and pay for the scholarships. And then, you know, we have our expense report where we record everything that we did. Yeah, and that's basically it.
Awesome. Another one that came in is any part of the program aimed at mitigating the environmental or health effects of the dump sites on the local population, which is a great question.
Let me read that. If is there any part of the
mitigating the environmental health risk?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, that would be. You want to collaborate, you know. I know the places that need it, you know, because that would be like the bigger dream of all of this, you know, because there's not so much that I can do directly with the dump site, but there's things I can do to try to remove the people from the harm. That seemed to be the easier way, because I had looked into working with the leachate and doing some mitigation in Nicaragua, but the whole process is very complicated and expensive. And so, yeah, we had tried doing some composting at one point when we were doing the gardening projects, but it's a lot of work. So I would need someone that like focused on that specifically. But as of yet, no.
I've got some candidates in mind. David, I know you have a question.
So it's a great question. And in fact, SWANA has just started to provide training and education to Latin American landfill owners and operators to try to get them to manage their landfills more properly, reduce the environmental impacts, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and improve working conditions and improve safety at those sites. And so there is the beginning of those types of offerings being made available in Spanish to folks in Latin America. And it's my hope that we will be able to continue to offer that and broaden that beyond the current audience that just recently, literally earlier today, completed the ninth module in our 9-module training program.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you know what country you're going to be working in?
So we hosted an event that was focused primarily on Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
And we had people from Colombia, Chile, and Panama in this training event. There's the opportunity to include people from countries like Nicaragua and Honduras, from memory, in future events as we repurpose some of that content. So that will be something to look at in 2021 and beyond.
Oh, wonderful. I'd like to know more as it develops, please.
Of course.
Awesome. Tim, I see another one here. What kind of work are the dump site residents actually doing there?
You mean before the program or after the program?
I think probably, well, how about both?
Okay. Well, before they're classifying the garbage. Some people they're looking only just for food. You know, sometimes if they get hungry, the dump site does become a place to scavenge to look for food. I've seen trucks come and dump like a pile of chicken legs, and people are, you know, and a lot of people focus on plastics. I see more men focusing on metals because like the copper inside the wire, you need to burn that to get to the material. So I see usually more like men that are burning that trash to get to those materials, while the kids are doing more of the plastics. The women are doing a little bit of everything, you know, there's everything that you all know about, you know, if it's paper, plastic, metal. And then the type of work that we've been able to transition people into is becoming a mechanic, doing beauty and barber, cutting hair. A majority of the students are in school, so they're working towards a degree or they're working towards something. But there's a lot of interest in being a nurse or something in the medical field. And we had like one set up a fritanga, which is like fried food. So she was like, you know, instead of like going to the dump site, she was providing like food for people coming in and out of the dump site or the local area. And she was making money doing that, and she wasn't going to the dump herself. And we had the driver ed students, and so it's a variety of things.
That's awesome. I'll ask you this from my personal perspective, and I know there's a lot of work, and I work with another group where we're trying to help some of these developing countries, much like the work that David mentioned that SWANA is doing on some training. Do you see a reasonable transition out of this way of life for some of these communities?
I do. I don't think I can do it by myself. And that's like why working in other countries, I started thinking like, it's going to get too big for me. But then working in other countries meant that there were smaller groups and there was a person to focus on that smaller group. So for me, it became more accessible. So, and when it became more accessible, I felt that this is feasible. We can really do this. So if it even happened on a larger level, I think in an even more organized level, in a larger group, it's totally possible. I did feel overwhelmed, like in Nicaragua, 50 kids and everything. It was like a lot of work. And so I did whatever I could, and there were a lot of disappointments, but we had a lot of successes too. So, but I do think it's feasible and it can be done.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm not seeing any more questions. So I really want to thank you, Tim, again, on behalf of all of us. I've had the pleasure of listening to you a couple of times now, and it's always fascinating. And I think it's really important for us to hear this message now. I mean, many of us are going through something pretty unprecedented, obviously, but I think this gives us all some perspective. So thank you for that.
Thank you guys for having me. Please, thank you.